Good evening, everybody on YouTube. I just want to thank you all for tuning in real quick to what I have to say. And I just want to talk about letting things be what they are, essentially letting go. If you don't know what that expression is, to let go, your past, your present, your future. Future is developed within the present moment. The past is the past. And I know right away people are going to think, what happened? If something happened and trauma. Yeah, trauma exists. Everybody has a bit of trauma, but that's not really entirely my message today is focused on trauma, but focusing on things that we say to ourselves that, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, it's too late. No, there's not enough time. All these phrases that we constantly repeat, they change the mental, they change the mind process, and it becomes a self-defeating theme that you develop in your mind, that the world and everything is against you and everything. And I talked about this in a previous video, which I'm still uploading. I need to upload, but I have to edit it. But what I was saying in my other video was that you can essentially fix yourself. You can do all the work. You can go out of your way to understanding what is a good and bad relationship. How do I improve myself personally, spiritually, financially? How do I gain this more deeper understanding and meaning of the entirety of what life is really about and what does life mean to me? Because your definition of what life means to you and me not necessarily would mean the same thing. But the greatest thing that you can have for yourself is the understanding yourself. Knowing thyself is going to get you one step closer. And when you're thinking about all these past phrases that I just used about, would have, could have, should have, scenarios and situations, you need to have consideration that you just need to flip that script. So instead of saying, oh, it's too late, you can think, how can I put more time into this now? Instead of thinking that everything is too late or that things are just the way they are, you're going to live on that model for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, a lot of us are essentially kind of programmed, or if you're brought up into a family or you have family members or even people that you're associating with, close friends, people that deal with, mental issues or have a lot of hardships and burdens in their lives. You may not have them now, but your association with people like that will eventually put you, it won't necessarily make you exactly like that, but it's going to persuade your mental to think like that. So keeping clear, I'm sure you've heard of people that always talk about, spiritual energy. And do I believe it? I believe it. Yes, I do believe it, because everybody has characteristics about themselves. Good, bad, ugly. Does not matter who it is. Everybody has a good, a bad, and an ugly side. However, everybody has the choice, the decision to live on that good, bad, or ugly side. So people who present themselves in a bad way, or bad and ugly way, are usually going to be more negatively driven, meaning that confrontation, argumentative, even as far as escalating to physical assault, battery, complete violence. Whereas the good side, even in a person that is a criminal, has a good side. It's just that they may not even know how to touch into that good side. Maybe it's because of their environment and everybody else they grown up around, that had an influence as well. Not trying to excuse that person for their actions, because it is wrong if you act on your bad side. But the people who tap into the positivity, like, for example, I met a young man at my college gym the other day, younger than me, a lot younger actually, 19, I think he said, and he's already on a spiritual path with Christianity. He is trying to become, I believe, a priest, he said. And it just gave me this complete realization of even comparing between my past. I'm closer now, going into my my early 30s. Geez, don't make myself too old here. He's about to enter into his 20s pretty soon. Being 19, I can remember and going back and thinking to myself that, wow, we were completely polar opposite in approach. But I'd rather hang out with that young man every day, even if he is closer to, he's over 9 years, about 9-10 year span, that gap in between our age, compared to a guy who's now my age, but he's already thinking about, how he can pretty much rob, kill, steal, doing that type of thing. Arguing doesn't even need to be extreme, doesn't even need to be violence, it doesn't even need to escalate to that. Maybe it's just his aura already, or her aura. I know I used male, but man, female, vice versa, does not matter. That energy, it pulls you, it pulls you in. And I know I'm kind of moving in and out of topics. I want to get better with my presentation when I speak about different topics here, because I realize that I can be jumping. But my main message is that protect your spirituality at all costs, because it is transferable. The longer you stick around people that play into a victimhood, the woe is me crowd, the more you hang around the people that are into mischief and getting into trouble, you may think to yourself, I'm not like that. But you're still surrounded by people that are kind of like that, or you kind of land yourself with people like that. I highly suggest to you to reconsider the company that you keep, because the company you keep eventually could make you. It will shift you. It will shape you in your mind and your behavior to go out of your way, So I highly recommend to everybody that, it's better off that you either find some new friends like that 19-year-old young man, similar people that are very similar to you, that like-mindedness, and not to give in to that negative energy and hold on to it. I gotta say that, from me speaking, to keep it 100% honest with you, that I need to even get deeper in touch with myself. And it's always a journey. You're never gonna be like, okay, I finished that, that's completed, that's done. Now, what am I gonna move on to now in life? No. It is an ongoing battle. It's always going to be something that you have to dedicate yourself to, And I think we need more people like that. I'm just really glad to see that there are still young people like that in this world, that are focusing on greater humanity, And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody else's religion, I am a Christian. I do believe in Jesus Christ. I am a follower of Christianity. But that doesn't all, the values of Christianity are very similar with other religions as well, in their value system and their moralities. Not all of them, but I'll touch on that later. Anyway, 10 minutes came up, so I'm going to leave it here. I hope you have a great day.